Have you ever wondered why the people you help the most are sometimes the same people who respect you the least? What if your kindness is not making you valuable, but making you available to people who never learned your worth? The truth is, being too friendly can become a hidden weakness when you forget the power of boundaries. Stop trying to be liked by everyone. Stop lowering your standards just to keep people comfortable. Stop sacrificing your peace because you're afraid someone might misunderstand your strength. Your life was not designed to be controlled by the opinions of people who do not understand your purpose. There is a difference between having a good heart and having no boundaries. A good heart gives with wisdom. A person without boundaries gives until they have nothing left. Many people confuse kindness with allowing everyone unlimited access to their time, energy, emotions, and dreams. You must understand this. Your availability determines how people value your presence. When you are always saying yes, always accepting excuses, always forgiving without change, people begin to believe that your patience has no limit. They stop seeing your kindness as a gift and start treating it like an obligation. Look at nature. Everything valuable has boundaries. Gold is protected. Diamonds are hidden deep inside the earth. Great things are not found lying everywhere, waiting for anyone to take them. Their value is connected to their rarity. Your time is valuable. Your energy is valuable. Your vision is valuable. You cannot build a great future while constantly allowing distractions to consume your focus. There comes a moment when you must ask yourself a difficult question. Am I helping people grow, or am I helping people stay comfortable while I slowly destroy myself? Many successful people had to learn this lesson. They were not successful because everyone loved them. They became successful because they learned when to say no. They learned that protecting their purpose was more important than protecting their popularity. Being too friendly often comes from wanting acceptance. Deep inside, many people fear rejection, so they become people pleasers. They agree when they disagree. They stay silent when they should speak. They give chances that should have ended long ago. But your purpose requires maturity. Your future requires discipline. Your destiny requires you to understand that love and limits can exist together. You can care about people without carrying their problems. You can respect people without surrendering your identity. You can be kind without becoming weak. The world does not need you to become cold. The world needs you to become gold. The world needs you to become wise. Learn the difference between a loving heart and an unprotected heart. Your greatest transformation begins when you stop seeking approval and start protecting the assignment placed inside you. The moment you stop chasing approval is the moment you begin discovering your true strength. Many people spend years trying to convince others that they are good, loyal, helpful, and valuable. They work hard to make everyone happy, but in the process, they forget the most important person they need to honor, themselves. You cannot build a powerful life while constantly asking permission to exist. You cannot walk confidently into your future while depending on everyone's acceptance. A person who knows their value does not need to beg for recognition. Their actions, discipline, and character speak louder than their words. The problem with being too friendly is that people often confuse your kindness with weakness. When you always forgive without accountability, they assume consequences do not exist. When you always make time for them, they assume your time has no value. When you always rescue them from their problems, they forget that they are responsible for their own growth. A person who truly loves others does not enable their destruction. Real love does not mean allowing someone to misuse your generosity. Real love sometimes requires distance, correction, and difficult conversations. Think about a leader. A great leader is not someone who says yes to everything. A great leader understands priorities. A great leader knows that every decision must protect the mission. If a leader allows every distraction to enter, the vision will eventually collapse. Your life is your mission. Your dreams are your responsibility. Your future requires protection. There will be moments when people call you different because you finally create boundaries. They may say you have changed. They may say you are no longer the same person. But sometimes change is exactly what growth looks like. A seed must break its outer shell before it becomes a tree. A butterfly must leave the comfort of the cocoon before it can fly. Growth always requires leaving behind an old version of yourself. The old version of you may have been addicted to approval. The old version of you may have feared disappointing others. The old version of you may have believed that being needed was the same as being valued. But you must understand something powerful. Being needed is not the same as being respected. Some people only appreciate what you provide, not who you are. They love your help, but they do not respect your boundaries. They celebrate your sacrifices, but they ignore your struggles. This is why wisdom is necessary. Do not allow your desire to be a good person to become the reason you tolerate unhealthy relationships. Do not allow your compassion to become a door where everyone enters and destroys your peace. Your kindness should be controlled by purpose, not by fear. Give because you choose to give, not because you are afraid people will leave. The strongest people are not those who have no heart. They are those who have a heart, but also have the wisdom to protect it. You were created to make an impact, not to spend your entire life proving your worth to people who refuse to see it. Learn to stand firm. Learn to protect your energy. Learn that saying no can sometimes be the greatest act of respect you give yourself. There is a dangerous trap that many people fall into. They believe that being available to everyone will make them valuable to everyone. But the opposite often happens. When you give unlimited access to your time, attention, and emotions, people stop recognizing the sacrifice behind what you provide. Value is often connected to understanding. When people understand that your time matters, they respect it. When people understand that your energy is limited, they become more careful with it. When people understand that your purpose requires focus, they stop demanding things that pull you away from your assignment. You must learn that every opportunity does not deserve your attention. Every conversation does not deserve your response. Every relationship does not deserve unlimited access to your life. A person without boundaries becomes controlled by the expectations of others. They wake up every day trying to meet demands that were never meant to be their responsibility. They carry emotions that do not belong to them. They fight battles they were never called to fight. Imagine a person building a house. They spend years creating something valuable, but they never build a fence around it. Anyone can walk inside. Anyone can damage what they created. Anyone can take what they worked hard to protect. The problem is not the house. The problem is the lack of protection. Your mind is your house. Your dreams are your house. Your future is your house. You must decide what deserves entrance and what must remain outside. This does not mean becoming arrogant. It does not mean disrespecting people. It means understanding responsibility. A wise person knows that protecting their purpose allows them to serve others better. Many people confuse humility with allowing people to walk over them. But humility is not thinking less of yourself. Humility is knowing your position, your responsibility, and your value without needing to prove it. A person who knows who they are does not need constant validation. They do not change their personality every time someone criticizes them. They do not abandon their principles just because someone disagrees. The world will always have opinions about you. Some people will misunderstand your silence. Some will criticize your boundaries. Some will become uncomfortable when you stop giving them the same access they once had. But remember this, people who benefited from your lack of boundaries may not celebrate your growth. A person who is used to your endless availability may become frustrated when you begin respecting your own time. A person who is comfortable with your weakness may struggle with your strength. Do not let their reaction convince you that your growth is wrong. When you become disciplined, you will lose some connections. When you become focused, you will disappoint some people. When you become intentional, you will no longer fit into every environment, and that is not failure. That is transformation. Your future requires a stronger version of you, a version that can love deeply but stand firmly. A version that can serve others without losing yourself. A version that understands your purpose is too important to be destroyed by the need to please everyone. The greatest freedom begins when you stop asking, "How can I make everyone happy?" and start asking, "What must I protect to become who I was created to be?" One of the hardest lessons you will ever learn is that not everyone who has access to you deserves influence over you. Just because someone can reach you does not mean they should control your emotions, your decisions, or your direction. Many people lose years of progress because they allow the wrong voices to become too powerful in their lives. They listen to people who criticize their dreams, question their abilities, and discourage their growth. They allow opinions from people who have no vision for their future to shape the way they see themselves. You must understand this. Your life becomes a reflection of the voices you give permission to speak into it. If you constantly surround yourself with negativity, doubt, and distraction, eventually those things begin to affect your mindset. But when you protect your environment and choose wisdom, discipline, and purpose, your thinking begins to rise. Being too friendly often causes people to ignore the importance of choosing relationships carefully. They believe every connection is valuable. They believe everyone deserves the same level of trust. But wisdom teaches you that relationships have different levels. Some people are meant to walk with you. Some people are meant to learn from you. Some people are meant to encourage you from a distance. And some people are only connected to you because they benefit from your kindness. You must have the courage to recognize the difference. A farmer does not plant every seed in the same soil. A wise farmer understands that growth depends on the environment. Some soil produces fruit. Some soil destroys potential. The seed has value, but the wrong environment can prevent it from becoming what it was designed to become. You are the same way. Your potential is powerful, but the environment around you matters. Stop giving your deepest thoughts to people who only use them against you. Stop explaining your vision to people who have already decided not to believe in it. Stop seeking advice from people who are afraid to pursue their own purpose. Not everyone deserves a front row seat to your journey. There is a difference between being friendly and being accessible to everyone. A friendly person treats others with respect. A wise person understands access must be earned. Your future depends on your ability to recognize value. You must value your time enough to protect it. You must value your dreams enough to defend them. You must value your growth enough to remove anything that constantly pulls you backward. Sometimes the greatest act of self-respect is creating distance. Sometimes silence is more powerful than explanation. Sometimes walking away is not weakness, it is wisdom. You do not have to fight every battle. You do not have to respond to every insult. You do not have to prove your heart to people who have already chosen to misunderstand you. A mature person understands that peace is more valuable than popularity. The moment you stop trying to be accepted everywhere is the moment you become prepared to succeed somewhere meaningful. Your purpose does not require everyone to understand you. Your purpose requires you to remain committed, focused, and disciplined, even when others do not recognize what you carry. Protect your heart, protect your mind, protect your mission. Because the person you are becoming requires a level of focus that the old version of you never had. There comes a moment in every person's life when they must decide whether they want temporary approval or permanent growth. You cannot have both when the price of approval is sacrificing who you are. Every great transformation requires a decision to stop living according to the expectations of others and start living according to your purpose. Many people remain stuck because they are afraid of disappointing someone. They stay in situations that drain them because they do not want to appear selfish. They continue giving opportunities to people who repeatedly hurt them because they want to be seen as kind. But kindness without wisdom can become a prison. You were not created to spend your entire life proving that you have a good heart. Your character is shown through your actions, your integrity, and your consistency. You do not need to destroy yourself just to convince people that you care. A powerful person understands balance. They know when to give and when to step back. They know when to speak and when to remain silent. They know when to support someone and when to allow that person to experience the consequences of their own choices. Sometimes the greatest help you can give someone is refusing to continue protecting them from growth. Think about a parent teaching a child to walk. At first, the parent holds the child because the child is learning. But eventually, the parent must release their hands. If they never let go, the child will never develop strength. The same principle applies to relationships. Sometimes your constant rescuing prevents people from discovering their own ability. Being too friendly can make you carry responsibilities that were never assigned to you. You start solving problems that belong to others. You start managing emotions that belong to others. You start sacrificing your dreams for people who are not sacrificing anything for you. This is where you must develop awareness. Ask yourself, is this relationship helping me become stronger, wiser, and more focused, or is it keeping me trapped in a cycle of exhaustion? The answer to that question can reveal a lot. You must stop measuring your value by how much you do for others. Your worth is not determined by how many people need you. Your worth comes from understanding who you are and walking confidently in that identity. A person who knows their value does not chase attention. They create excellence. They do not beg people to stay. They build a life that attracts the right people. They do not fear losing connections that require them to abandon themselves. Remember this, losing access to certain people can be the beginning of gaining access to your true potential. The strongest version of you is waiting beyond the fear of rejection. The disciplined version of you is waiting beyond the need for approval. The focused version of you is waiting beyond the habit of saying yes to everything. You must become intentional with your life. Every great building requires strong foundations. Every successful journey requires clear direction. Every meaningful purpose requires protection. Your time is a resource. Your energy is a resource. Your attention is a resource. Stop giving your most valuable resources to people who treat them as ordinary. Respect yourself enough to create limits. Respect your future enough to protect your focus. Respect your purpose enough to walk away from anything that keeps you smaller than you were designed to become. The greatest battle you will ever fight is not against other people. It is the battle within yourself between who you have been and who you are becoming. The old version of you wants comfort. The old version of you wants approval. The old version of you wants everyone to understand and accept every decision you make. But growth requires a different mindset. You cannot step into a greater future while carrying the habits that kept you trapped in the past. You cannot become stronger while depending on constant validation. You cannot build confidence while allowing every opinion to control your emotions. One of the biggest reasons people struggle with boundaries is because they confuse rejection with failure. They think if someone becomes upset with them, they have done something wrong. They think if someone leaves because they changed, they have lost something valuable. But sometimes losing approval is the cost of gaining purpose. A person who is committed to growth understands that every season requires a different version of themselves. The person you were 5 years ago may have needed to please everyone because you were still learning your identity. But the person you are becoming must learn responsibility, discipline, and wisdom. You cannot remain the same and expect different results. Imagine an eagle trying to fly while holding on to heavy objects. The eagle may have the ability to rise, but the weight will limit its movement. Eventually, it must release what is holding it down. Many people are carrying emotional weights that are preventing them from reaching their potential. They are carrying the need to be liked. They are carrying the fear of criticism. They are carrying relationships that constantly drain their energy. The question is not whether you can carry these things. The question is whether carrying them is helping you become who you are meant to become. There is a difference between loyalty and attachment. Loyalty is standing with people through challenges while maintaining your values. Attachment is staying connected to things that are destroying your growth because you fear change. You must learn to recognize the difference. A mature person does not hate people who are no longer part of their journey. They simply understand that not every person is assigned to every season. Some people were lessons. Some people were temporary connections. Some people helped you discover what you needed to change. And some people will walk with you into your future. Wisdom is knowing which is which. Stop feeling guilty for protecting your peace. Stop apologizing for having standards. Stop explaining your boundaries to people who benefit from you having none. Your life requires leadership, and leadership begins with leading yourself. If you cannot control your time, everyone else will control it for you. If you cannot protect your focus, distractions will consume it. If you cannot manage your emotions, other people will manipulate them. The strongest leaders are not those who control others. They are those who have learned to control themselves. Discipline is the foundation of freedom. Boundaries are the foundation of respect. Self-awareness is the foundation of growth. You do not become powerful by becoming harder. You become powerful by becoming wiser. Continue moving forward. Continue developing yourself. Continue becoming the person who no longer needs to chase acceptance because they understand their own value. Your future is too important to be controlled by the fear of disappointing people. Your purpose is too valuable to be sacrificed for temporary comfort. Your destiny requires a stronger version of you. There is a moment when every person who desires growth must confront a difficult truth. You cannot become who you are meant to be while remaining available to everything that tries to keep you the same. Growth demands separation. Progress demands focus. Purpose demands discipline. Many people want a better future, but they refuse to protect the habits, relationships, and environments that influence their future. They want success, but continue allowing distractions to control their attention. They want peace, but continue giving access to people who create confusion. They want confidence, but continue depending on approval from others. You must understand that your future is built by what you choose to protect today. Every decision you make is either moving you closer to your purpose or pulling you away from it. Every conversation, every relationship, and every commitment requires evaluation. A wise person does not simply ask, "Can I do this?" They ask, "Should I do this?" They understand that having the ability to give does not mean they have the responsibility to give everything. Your energy is not unlimited. Your time is not unlimited. Your opportunities are not unlimited. This is why focus becomes one of your greatest weapons. The people who achieve extraordinary things are not always the most talented. Many times, they are the people who learned how to remove unnecessary distractions. They learned how to say no to things that were good, so they could say yes to things that were greater. Being too friendly can sometimes cause you to live a life full of activities, but empty of achievement. You become busy helping everyone else build their dreams, while neglecting the vision placed inside you. You must ask yourself a powerful question. Am I investing enough into my own growth? Because you cannot pour from an empty container forever. There is nothing noble about destroying yourself while trying to save everyone else. There is nothing admirable about abandoning your own responsibilities because you are constantly managing someone else's. A person with wisdom understands that self-development is not selfish. Improving yourself allows you to become more valuable to the people you are truly called to help. Think about a professional athlete. They spend hours training, studying, and improving their abilities. They do not apologize for practice. They do not feel guilty for preparing. They understand that their preparation allows them to perform at their highest level. Your life requires the same commitment. You must prepare your mind. You must strengthen your character. You must develop your discipline. The world does not need a version of you that is exhausted, distracted, and constantly seeking approval. The world needs the strongest version of you, the version that knows how to love, serve, and lead without losing identity. Sometimes your greatest breakthrough begins when you stop being available for everything and become committed to something meaningful. Do not fear becoming different. Do not fear outgrowing old patterns. Do not fear creating distance from what limits you. A tree cannot grow tall if it refuses to let go of old leaves. A river cannot move forward if it remains trapped in one place. You were designed to progress. Your purpose is calling you higher. Your potential is waiting for your commitment. Your future is waiting for your discipline. The question is no longer, will everyone understand my growth? The question is, will I respect my future enough to grow anyway? The person who refuses to set boundaries eventually becomes controlled by the demands of others. They wake up every day responding to someone else's expectations instead of building the life they were created to live. They become so focused on keeping everyone comfortable that they forget their own purpose requires attention. You must realize that your life is not a public resource. Everyone cannot have unlimited access to your thoughts, your emotions, your dreams, and your time. Valuable things require protection. Look at anything precious in the world. It is guarded because it has worth. A treasure is not left unprotected. A powerful vision is not shared with everyone. A great mission is not built by constantly allowing distractions to interrupt the process. Your life is a mission. The moment you understand this, you begin making different decisions. You stop answering every request. You stop explaining every choice. You stop feeling guilty for choosing growth over comfort. This does not mean you become disrespectful. It means you become responsible. A mature person understands that respect is not only something you give, it is something you also teach others to give you. The way you treat yourself creates a standard for how others approach you. If you constantly ignore your own needs, people learn to ignore them too. If you constantly break your own boundaries, others learn that your boundaries are not serious. You must become consistent. Many people say they want respect, but they continue allowing behavior that destroys it. They complain about being used, but they never change their availability. They complain about being taken for granted, but they never communicate their expectations. Respect requires action. Sometimes the most powerful statement you can make is not a speech. Sometimes it is a decision. A decision to step away. A decision to focus. A decision to stop participating in patterns that weaken you. Your future depends on the decisions you make when nobody is watching. Can you choose discipline when comfort is easier? Can you choose purpose when popularity is tempting? Can you choose growth when people pressure you to remain the same? This is where true maturity begins. You do not become stronger by proving yourself to everyone. You become stronger by mastering yourself. A person who is controlled by the need for approval will always be manipulated by opinions. But a person who understands their value can stand confidently even when others disagree. Remember, some people will only respect the new version of you after they realize the old version is gone. They may question your changes. They may misunderstand your silence. They may wonder why you no longer react the way you used to. But growth changes your responses. You no longer argue with every criticism. You no longer chase every person who walks away. You no longer waste energy convincing people of your worth. You understand that your life speaks through your results, your character, and your consistency. Stop trying to be everything for everyone. You were never created to carry every expectation placed on you. You were created to fulfill a purpose. And fulfilling that purpose requires courage. The courage to disappoint people who benefited from your weakness. The courage to leave behind habits that limit you. And the courage to become the person your future requires. Protect your peace. Protect your focus. Protect your vision. Because when you protect what matters, you create space for what is meant to grow. The greatest transformation happens when you finally understand that your life is too valuable to be controlled by the desire to please everyone. There will always be people who want your attention, your energy, your support, and your resources. But the question you must ask is this: are you investing so much into others that you are neglecting the person you are becoming? Many people spend their entire lives building everyone else while leaving their own foundation weak. They encourage others to chase dreams while abandoning their own dreams. They motivate others to become better while refusing to make the difficult changes required in their own lives. This is the danger of being too friendly without wisdom. You can become so focused on being a blessing to others that you forget you also need to grow, develop, and prepare yourself. A tree does not produce fruit by ignoring its roots. The roots must be strengthened first. Your inner foundation matters. Your mindset matters. Your discipline matters. Your choices matter. The strongest people are not those who never care about others. They are those who have learned how to care without losing themselves. They understand that helping people does not mean allowing people to destroy their peace. There is a difference between compassion and compromise. Compassion says, I care about you. Compromise says, I will destroy myself so you never have to face discomfort. You must know the difference. Sometimes people will become upset when you begin creating healthier boundaries. They may accuse you of changing. They may say you are becoming distant. But remember, growth often looks like rejection to people who benefited from your lack of boundaries. A person who is comfortable with your endless availability may struggle when you start valuing your time. A person who depended on your silence may become uncomfortable when you begin speaking with confidence. Do not return to weakness just because someone misses the old version of you. The old version may have been easier for others to access, but the new version is preparing for a greater future. Every successful person reaches a point where they must separate themselves from distractions. They must become intentional about their environment, their relationships, and their priorities. Greatness requires focus. You cannot build something extraordinary while constantly being interrupted by ordinary demands. You cannot achieve a powerful vision while allowing every opinion to become a direction. Your purpose must become stronger than your need for approval. When you know where you are going, you become careful about who influences your journey. You stop allowing random voices to determine your confidence. You stop allowing temporary emotions to control permanent decisions. You begin leading yourself, and self-leadership is the foundation of every great achievement. Learn to walk away without hatred. Learn to create distance without anger. Learn to say no without guilt. A boundary is not a wall built to keep love out. A boundary is a structure built to protect what is valuable. Your heart is valuable. Your dreams are valuable. Your future is valuable. Do not allow the fear of losing people to make you lose yourself. The world does not need a version of you that is constantly exhausted from trying to be accepted. The world needs a disciplined, focused, and confident version of you that understands one powerful truth. You cannot fulfill your greatest purpose while constantly sacrificing yourself to maintain everyone else's comfort. There comes a time when you must make a decision that changes everything. You must decide that your future is more important than your fear. Your purpose is more important than your popularity, and your growth is more important than the comfort of remaining the same. The journey of becoming stronger begins when you stop asking, "How can I make everyone happy?" and start asking, "What kind of person must I become to fulfill my purpose?" That question changes your entire life. Because the truth is, you were never created to spend your years chasing approval. You were created to develop your gifts, strengthen your character, and make an impact that reaches beyond yourself. Being kind is powerful. Being generous is powerful. Caring for others is powerful. But without wisdom, even good qualities can become weaknesses. A person who does not protect their time will lose their time. A person who does not protect their energy will lose their energy. A person who does not protect their vision will eventually lose their direction. This is why you must become intentional. Choose your relationships wisely. Choose your commitments wisely. Choose what receives your attention wisely. Not everything deserves a response. Not everyone deserves access. Not every opportunity deserves your energy. The mature person understands that saying no is not a rejection of people. It is a commitment to purpose. You can love people and still create boundaries. You can forgive people and still create distance. You can support people and still refuse to carry responsibilities that belong to them. This is the balance of wisdom. Never allow anyone to convince you that protecting yourself means you have become selfish. A person who protects their purpose is preparing themselves to serve at a higher level. Remember, a broken person cannot build a strong foundation for others. A distracted person cannot provide clear direction. A person without discipline cannot create lasting results. Your transformation begins with self-respect. Respect your mind enough to protect what enters it. Respect your time enough to invest it wisely. Respect your future enough to stop repeating patterns that keep you small. There will be people who do not understand your new standards. There will be people who miss the version of you that was easier to control. There will be people who prefer your weakness because your strength challenges them. But you cannot shrink yourself to make others comfortable. A tree does not apologize for growing taller. A mountain does not apologize for standing higher. Your growth is not an attack against anyone. Your responsibility is to become everything you were designed to become. So today, make a decision. Stop being available for everything that steals your focus. Stop giving your best energy to things that produce no growth. Stop allowing fear of rejection to control your choices. Build yourself, strengthen yourself, discipline yourself. Become the person who walks with confidence, not because everyone approves, but because you know your value. Your future is waiting for a stronger you. Do not return to the old version that needed constant approval. Do not abandon your purpose to maintain temporary connections. Protect your peace. Protect your vision. Protect your destiny. And if this message challenged you, do not let it end here. Take what you learned, apply it, transform your mindset, and continue building the powerful life you were meant to live. Your next level begins with the decisions you make today.